I have a very special guest, Prithvi Haldea of Prime Database, joining us to decode the decisions and the announcements made by the SEBI chairman. Mr. Haldea, always a pleasure chatting with you. Good evening. I was just remarking to Pankaj that unlike a lot of other board meetings, this one not so big, no big bang announcements as such, maybe a missed opportunity when it comes to trying to correct the deteriorating corporate governance standards, but that's a totally different debate. One of the issues I wanted to talk to you about was to do with the IPO timeline. The market regulator now is saying 2 days is enough to announce the price band. Is that something industry wanted, that the market participants had been seeking? And my second question to you has to do with more disclosures being demanded from pharmaceutical companies in case they come under the radar of the US FDA. Is that also a case of better late than never?
Okay, let me slightly go take you to the main agenda of board meeting today. Last year in a discussion with SEBI chairman, it came out very clearly that the ICDR regulations had become very wieldy. There are many obsolete clauses. There are many clauses which are not consistent with the current market practice. There were contradictions with other acts and regulations of SEBI and Companies Act, and the language was very, very tedious and cumbersome. So, a project was taken up by me to rewrite these regulations in simple English in the right process flow and dedicate one chapter to each kind of issuance, so that you get all the regulations concerning a particular kind of issuance at one place in the right order. So, that was a major project which took almost 7 to 8 months, and that also incorporated all the FAQs and informal guidances and circulars which should have been a part of the regulations, but which are lying by the side. So, this was a major project of trying to rewrite the regulations, and in the process of rewriting we realized that there were many changes that were regulatory in nature. So, rewriting was one part, but then there were regulatory changes which were required, and we suggested those changes to SEBI, which were taken to PMAC, and PMAC finally discussed and approved them, and they were incorporated in ICDR. Now, on the question that you specifically asked, this was one of the 158 recommendations that we had made to PMAC regarding policy changes, and it was felt that a 5-day working day period before the date of the IPO to announce the price has become very, very risky for a large number of issuers given the volatility of the market. So, you take a call on the price on a particular day, and then you have to open an IPO 6 to 7 days or 8 days later. Imagine that kind of a scenario in a secondary market situation where you have to take a call on a price a week ahead. So, I think there was a requirement looking at the international market practices, and also the request made by a lot of market participants, which suggested that a 2-day period is enough for the market to understand the price and to analyze the price, and for the media to report it, so that the investors can take an appropriate decision. We also are cognizant of the fact that the retail typically comes on the last day, and they take a substantial amount of Q from QIBs, and therefore, it will be actually 4 to 5 days for the retail investors to digest the price before applying on the last day. So, this was basically a decision which was in keeping with the market requirement and market practice, and I think would help issuers going forward. On the second point, that was not clearly a point of discussion in my committee, but there have been complaints to SEBI that there are a lot of disclosures which are made to foreign jurisdictions. There are many inspections which are carried out abroad, and some of them have material impact on the company or its products or bottom line and top line. And many of these reports don't get disclosed to the Indian shareholders. And I think SEBI has taken a view that this will be considered as material disclosure, and all listed companies would be obligated in future to make appropriate disclosures to the stock exchanges for the benefit of domestic shareholders.
Right, Prithvi. Thank you so much for taking our time for us. Always good to